breakfast program for students across the country. Plus, hurricane season is here, and a retired meteorologist is urging residents to prepare early. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you so much for watching. Topping news tonight. In a show of unity and determination, hundreds of Bahamians took to the streets of Freeport today for the annual Sir Randall Folks Labor Day Parade, proudly showcasing their commitment to the labor movement and urging continued participation for a brighter future. Our Raven Davis was on the parade and has more in this report.
Workers, unionists, and dignitaries uniting in love and reflecting on the many contributions of workers in the country. That tribute starting with a march from the Independence Park and culminating right here at the heart of downtown Freeport.
As we celebrate the 50th anniversary of our country, on every sector, whether it was the Burma Road riot, whether it was in 1973 a move to independence, the labor movement has always played a significant part in the development of this country.
Fought to get equal rights through Randall Fox, the father of labor. This day is essential because it recognized the workers and what we've gone through and how we agitated and fight to get to where we are today.
An historical event, 50 years of labor. Wow.
The day was undeniably momentous as marchers took to the streets with pride, hoisting banners high and adorning their chests with the names of their respective unions. Dr. Keith Russell, pastor of First Baptist Church, says he supports the march every year, but laments that sometimes younger generations take for granted many of the liberties we are afforded today, like the 40-hour work weeks, vacations, and overtime pay.
The labor movement had to march and fight to get those things, and I want to honor that. But I think that you have to teach people, and has to start in school, that the significance of Labor Day, this is a holiday, so you get a holiday off, why are you getting this holiday? And teach them so they can understand why this is so.
Cabinet ministers also reaffirmed government's commitment to laborers and recount the tribulations endured prior to the labor movement.
We've already signed 18 industrial agreements within the past 18 months, something we're really, really proud about. And this is the 50th year of our independence. We've supported labor from day one, and we'll continue to support labor.
There's nothing more important than being physically present. Nice to say words, but it's better to be present. And so that's why I'm here.
We're standing on grounds right here where taxi drivers were arrested and were brought before the courts because they took a position back in the 60s because they could not drive on the streets of Freeport. And many don't stop long enough to consider the fact that without labor, without 1948, without 1958, without 1965, without those years, without the workers standing up in this country, we would not be a liberated country today.
They say it was on the backs of persons like Sir Lyndon Pinling, Preacher Hall, and Clifford Darling that we can reclaim what is rightfully ours. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Thanks, Raven. Union leaders distinguished in their strong voices, highlighting the significance of the day and the importance of continued participation in labor movements. They passionately shared stories of triumphs achieved through collective action, emphasizing that the strength of unity could survive any obstacle. Here's President of the Bahamas Educators and Counselors Allied Workers Union, Sandra Major, and BCPOU Area VP, Charles Ellis.
Celebrating 50 years, and to know that we have this support for workers because workers built this country. We cannot do anything unless we do it together. And this is proving to us that if we do it together, we can get through anything.
I am very excited to be out here today to see so many of my co-workers, my laborers coming together on this march to say that we are Bahamians, we have rights, we're excited. This day has been set aside for us, so we need to come and bring our concerns and say what we need and be able to get these things resolved. We have many issues in this Bahamas, and this one day will not solve it. So we will continue to pound and make a difference.
While pleased with today's turnout, President of the Nurses Union, William Bartlett, says he hopes the support doesn't end with the parade.
It's kind of pleased to see that, the people come out. I hope that you just don't come out, but you come out, you participate, and from here you go to make the union stronger and better. But the workers need it.
This is bigger than me or you. This is about the Bahamas, and we need to take our country back and let workers know in this country they have a place and they have a right in this country. So today is a great day celebrating unionism, united in love.
Switching gears now, in a highly anticipated announcement this week, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis revealed plans to implement a nationwide breakfast program for students across the country. Just 2 weeks ago, we ran a story on Senator Kirkland Russell advocating for this program, and now he is gladly responding, thanking the nation's leader. Aja Quant has his response.
Introducing a broad range of measures specifically relating to education, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis announcing a national school breakfast program.
Education is key. It is the number one path to success. And yet, if a young person is malnourished or suffering from an otherwise preventable condition, their life chances are greatly restricted. In order that our children can put aside thoughts of hunger and concentrate on their schoolwork, today I am pleased to announce that my government will be introducing a new national school breakfast program.
Following the Prime Minister's announcement, Senator Kirkland Russell, a vocal advocate for a national breakfast program since taking office, expressed his elation and offered his support for the long-awaited initiative.
This is truly protecting the interests of our country, and I consider it to be a great step and a wise decision by our Prime Minister to implement such a program.
Senator Russell has consistently championed the cause, recognizing the positive impact it can have on students' academic performance and overall well-being.
Yes, it provides the breakfast for the child, but it also lifts the burden of the parents who are struggling, who are not able to provide the 3 meals for their children. Now, at least they are assured that their children will have a healthy breakfast, they will have a healthy lunch, and be able to get a good education. So it's a burden, and it's also an opportunity, Aja, for employment. And so I believe that this will be a new set, a new group of vendors who would be afforded the opportunities to provide these breakfasts, for the thousands of young persons who need it throughout this country.
Senator Russell noting that this initiative will not only alleviate child hunger, but also contribute to improved school attendance, concentration, and academic achievement among students. Prime Minister Davis concluding his address about the program, noting due to the fact that hunger does not only afflict students, the government will also establish a food assistance program to provide funding for organizations operating feeding programs for vulnerable individuals. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Aja Quant.
Thanks, Aja. With projections pointing to a near-normal hurricane season, a retired meteorologist gives his input on how residents should navigate this year's Atlantic hurricane season. Shane Stubbs has this.
Although predictors project the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season to be a near-normal one, retired meteorologist Kirk James is cautioning residents to not rest on their laurels and remain vigilant this season.
From Director Max Mayfield time onwards, and even before Max, I'm sure, he asks us to not be fixated on numbers, the public to not be fixated on numbers, because just remember, even if we're expecting a dismally low season, you only need one of the 2 or 3 or 4 that form to pass your way, and it'll be as if it was the most active season. So the message is simply the same: prepare as normal.
National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration forecasters have projected 12 to 17 named storms, with 5 to 9 to become hurricanes and 1 to 4 to become major storms. Whether or not climate change could have a heavy influence on the season, James says the jury is still out.
Professor Bill Gray, he's Colorado State University, and he believes these things have a 25 to 40-year cycle. You see upswing, intense storms, frequent storms, and then you see a lull. And so he believed it was a pattern, but whether that's true or not, like I say, the jury is out on this climate change issue.
But is there the possibility that more storms could pop up than projected? The 2020 season was the second time in history that the Greek alphabet had to be used in naming storms. However, this season, James says that shouldn't be the case.
They don't expect it to be any La Nina year, which you have upswing in activity, dramatic rise, or El Nino. They expect a slight El Nino year, which is slightly below normal. That puts a damper on the hurricane's wind shear.
And while reminding the public to be attentive to news outlets, James pleads with everyone to ensure their preparations are done early.
What affects your area most, you know? Is it flooding? Is it drain clogging, etc., etc.? Check your structure for soundness. You want to stock up on water and non-perishable items. Make sure to trim the trees from easements. You know, the power company, water company need to regularly assess their meters and lines. And don't presume. That's a dangerous position to be in, to presume, oh, this one is not going to come this way or that one not going to come this way. Not presume, but prepare.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Well, as the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season is now upon us, the Grand Bahama Port Authority says it's all about being prepared. The team say they have taken the correct measures to ensure quality responses and are also encouraging the public to be ready as well. Here's Shane Stubbs.
With June 1st marking the beginning of the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season, the Grand Bahama Port Authority DEVCO hurricane preparedness teams say they have been proactive in their readiness ahead of the impending season. City Manager at the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Troy McIntosh, providing an update on the work that has been done so far.
The City Management Department has continued to trim trees on our main roads, carry out restorations services of our drainage wells, as well as ensuring that large debris piles are moved within our subdivisions. We are encouraging residents not to wait for the last minute to remove debris that can be projectile. But as you know, tomorrow is the beginning of the hurricane season. Begin to do that now.
According to Assistant Maintenance Manager for Lucaya Services Company, Corey Cartwright, they've been hard at work to ensure the roadways are safe should a system pass through. He also reminds residents about the importance of keeping the roads clear until an all clear is given.
We are asking you as team members yourself, you at home, be mindful that when we are doing our assessments, it's not an opportunity just for you to ride around to see what happened. By you staying home, it helps the teams who are out assessing the areas, ensuring that the proper electricity damage and also any broken poles may be cleared without hindrance.
Director at the Grand Bahama Utility Company, Remington Wilshcombe, also ensures that they are fully prepared when it comes to water restoration.
With a comprehensive plan in place, we are fully prepared to mitigate potential challenges and swiftly respond to any disruptions caused by severe weather conditions. This evaluation has enabled us to develop a robust plan that encompasses all necessary measures.
And while also encouraging the public to make full use of the landfill, Vice President of Building and Development Services, Nakira Wilshcombe, encourages residents in low-lying areas to be proactive with their evacuation plans.
Families in flood-prone areas are encouraged to develop evacuation plans and routes. Also to ensure that our hurricane kits are now further expanded to include life safety items such as ropes, vests, saws, and other necessary devices.
Information is paramount, so for further updates on hurricane readiness, the public is encouraged to follow the GBPA, GBUC, LOSCO, and DEVCO's Facebook pages. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Thanks, Shane. In news from Bimini, 3 males ages 23, 49, and 60 have been apprehended by police after being found in possession of a substantial quantity of suspected marijuana. Acting on a search warrant, officers from the Allenstown Police Station and Drug Enforcement Unit discovered the illicit substance during a search of a residence in Porgy Bay. Authorities also confiscated $20,000 believed to be proceeds from criminal activities. The weight and value of the drugs remain unknown and investigations are ongoing. Well, a young Bahamian man shares his outlook on the future of Grand Bahama. The details of this story and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues.
You asked for it, you've got it. A new plant nursery fully loaded with everything you need and extended hours. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And culture, wicked strength, choke canoe, fishing and sailing, just to name a few, free from bondage. That was our heritage. Our nation isn't perfect, there is more work to be done. Forward, upward, and onward towards the rising sun. Yes, we should be proud. It's time to say it loud. Oh, drop your flag, wave it from side to side. Our gold and black represents your pride. Lift your head and say, I'm a proud Bahamian. Woman like me, like a woman like me, la la la. Woman like me, like a woman like me, la la la.
Good day, good evening, and good vibes to my Power Nation. I hope you guys are doing so good. You know you got it locked in with the one and only Angel M, baby.
What you doing in the sky, gal?
Listening to Power 104.5 FM.
You still listening to the show, gal?
Yes, Angel, I'm still on.
Gal, bitch, I'm perfect. Yeah, trouble when she turn it. Need a service. We'll sign hot like a furnace. Gal, what you doing to me? Doing to me. Gal, what you doing to me? Doing to me.
Tune into Good Vibes with Angel M from 2 to 6 on Power 104.5 FM.
Sunland, Tabernacle, Bishop Michael Eldon, St. George's, 8 Mile Rock, and Jack Hayward all participated in this year's relaunch of the Battle of the Brains.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Amidst the challenges faced by Grand Bahama, a young and driven Bahamian entrepreneur steps forward, voicing his unwavering hope and ambitious plans to revive the island's economy. Here's that story. Entrepreneur and West End native Bryant Lowe shares his nostalgia for the good old days of Grand Bahama, when the island was known as the Magic City and West End was considered the capital. As a young person, Lowe says he has heard countless stories from older generations who witnessed a different economic and social climate in the area.
When we look at the overall goal that we have for West Grand Bahama, we need to look at solutions that will not only help to advance and progress us, but that are also sustainable, so that we can, when we get back to this place that West Grand Bahama used to be, we can keep it that way for a very long time.
Lowe highlights that generational differences, political shifts, and socioeconomic backgrounds should not hinder the progress towards a common goal.
I didn't get to experience West Grand Bahama in its prime, but my grandmother and different community leaders like Mr. Neely, Mr. Grant, and all of those, we have conversations, you hear the stories, and you start to wonder, what happened and how can we get back there. I don't want generation after generation to pass and we don't see the progress
The young entrepreneur stresses the critical need for infrastructure and opportunity to coexist alongside a personal commitment to advancement. Lowe warns that without this balance, talented individuals may have no choice but to seek better opportunities elsewhere.
The important thing for us is vision. We have to keep the faith because, like you said, as young people in the community, we never got to witness it firsthand. The older generation, they know how it was in its prime, so they know, they experienced it, and they know what they want to shoot for. But for us, it's more of a keep the faith type of thing. So it's important for us to not only come up with the visions, but to stick with it and stick with the process that it takes to reach that goal.
The month of May was deemed Nurses Month, and this year the Public Hospitals Authority and the Grand Bahama Health Services hosted an Education Day and luncheon under the theme Our Nurses, Our Future. The seminar was held at the Pelican Bay Hotel, and Nurses Services month of May was advisor at PHA Lillian Charlton explains the importance of providing continuous education and training for Bahamian nurses.
Education is important really for practice. All right, we as nurses, you're trained, and then the need is for us to continue with our training to make sure that we kept up to date. And so as nurse educators, the expectation is that you would put on programs to make sure that our nurses remain on the cutting edge. But it's very, very important that as nurses, we keep ourselves aware, that we keep up to pace with what's happening, because an educated nurse is a nurse that executes good practice, which ultimately results, it has the potential to result in better patient outcomes for our patients and our clients. And so today's occurrence is key. It's very important for us.
Nursing officer at the Grand Bahama Health Services, Kenisha Munnings, shared the prevalent topics that nurses tackled during the seminar.
One of the most important topics that we're going to discuss today is infection control. We want to bring forth the latest trends in healthcare that other countries are doing to ensure that we prevent the spread of microorganisms so that we can have healthy patients and so that we can deliver quality, healthy care for all.
Your Friday Check on Sports is next with Shane Stubbs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs, and welcome to Sports. I hope you all are having an amazing Labor Day holiday. Guess what? The Grand Bahama Flag Football League playoffs kick off this Sunday, and the Pink Sands Lady Tigers are ready for all the smoke. After their regular season finale win over the GB Elites, the Pink Sands Lady Tigers are feeling pretty confident.
I think we got the tools ready and willing to fight as we go into the playoffs. So we feel like we have a good chance. And this was like a precursor for us going into the playoffs, because this is the team we're going to play. Once we put our game plan together and we stick to it, we should pull off for the win and head into the championship.
Team captain Ebony Stewart says the team is right where they want to be.
With us being a fairly new team with mostly seasoned players, I must say that we fought to the end. We started off a bit slow, but now we are confident. We know they're coming hungry, and we're going to come hungrier, go big or go home.
Also this Sunday at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex, the Coca-Cola Knights take on the Barco Oilers, while the Container Port Stalkers go head-to-head with the Mobile Go Tritons. Next, on to tee, the Bahamas Leadership Academy closing out their recently held golf camp. Harris instructor Emalcus Heald.
It's so awesome what Bahamas Leadership Golf Academy is doing. There's so much opportunities for these kids as they develop in their sport in terms of scholarships. I mean, it's unlimited. It's just giving them that extra opportunity, giving their kids the extra opportunity to be able to advance at a different level.
And for their hard work, the little ones would receive special awards. And lastly, in sports, Grand Bahama amateur softball action resuming this Saturday. In women's action, the Cubas Lady Enforcers take on the Keys Bahamas Lady Strikers. On the men's side, Ira Boys face the Marco City Marlins. Express Men will take on the CLA Developers. And in co-ed play, the Immigration Enforcers take on the GBPA Regulators. The action will continue this Sunday at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex softball field. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, the Bahamas Cycling Federation Nationals continue this weekend, and we'll have all the results for you this coming Monday. But for now, I'm Shane Stubbs. Be safe and be great.
Meet David Ferguson.
So the Battle of the Brains was complimentary because several things. It was formative in that it allowed me to think critically as to how I study best. This is supposed to be an intellectual experience that you enjoy. Yes, it's a competition, but when you look back at it, you don't want to be so focused on the competitive aspect of this that you miss the intellectual engagement, stimulation, and development that you can gain from this. This should give you a skill or help you learn more about yourself so that you take that with you as you progress in your career and start your university studies.
It's the Afternoon Beat.
Afternoon 10 a.m. Afternoon Beat with Zion. Join me Monday to Friday from 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. on 8:10 a.m. It's the Afternoon Beat with Zion.
I thought the march was very, very good. Today we're celebrating 61 years, Doris Johnson, what she did to promote women to bring us to this stage to where we are today.
Seeing the little girls was the coolest part to me because, you know, that's our future.
I actually thought it was amazing to see so many females come on and support one another. It makes me know that, you know, we have actually grown. I know where we came from and I know we have to go further.
A woman's march, that is something that's very different, so I really liked it and I feel like it's a great turnout for being the first one.
I feel good. I'm proud to be a woman in this Bahama land.
I am so proud to be a woman in the Bahamas.
Ice a coconut got this, cocoa skin driven madness, juiciness ice the back this, sweet like a sugar in ya, dripping like ice hot.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Eddie Juan of Basra, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We wish you a special happy birthday and we appreciate your support and we say continue the great job you do on the sea and in the air. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Simone Davis, but be sure to stay tuned as The Bahamas Tonight continued.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, Workers Unite. Remembering the 4 lost, Chamber weighs in on budget, and in sports, dark skies, cloud regatta. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Happy Labor Day, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Dark skies, intermittent rain, and muddy puddles, not nearly enough to stop hundreds of workers from marching and dancing in the streets during the annual Labor Day parade. Our Vaughn Albury tagged along. He gives us the details of the Prime Minister's address to laborers.
2023 Labor Day. And like most Labor Days in the past in the Bahamas, it is raining. But that did not stop the enthusiasm of workers to celebrate the Randolph Fox Labor Day. The Prime Minister led the Progressive Liberal Party contingent. His government stands proud, having signed a number of agreements with unions.
When we came into office, mid-September of 2021, here's what we met in place. Over 30 expired industrial agreements, broken lines of communication, countless grievances, a disregard for workers' rights and benefits, a lack of respect and a lack of trust. So what we did, we rolled up our sleeves and we got to work. We met with union leaders from across the country. We established an open-door policy and regular meeting times. We appointed an industrial relations unit so we could engage unions and negotiate long outstanding industrial agreements, some going back as far as 2015. And standing here today, I'm very proud to say, together, we have made real progress. 19 industrial agreements are now under contract. Yes. And as for the remaining 8, well, it won't be too long now. We don't believe in leaving anyone behind. Look, we inherited a country in every kind of crisis. A fiscal crisis, an economic crisis, a healthcare crisis, an education crisis. You all remember that?
Yes, yes.
But when you truly believe in fairness and dignity, I repeat that, when you truly believe in fairness and dignity, there is so much that can be done even during hard times.
He went on to emphasize how his government's open-door policy to unions directly benefited workers, even through the country's hard times from COVID-19 and Hurricane Dorian.
That's why it's hard times, they say. And as I said, there's still much that can be done during hard times. And that is why, in hard times, we're able still to raise the minimum wage.
Yes. Yes.
That's why, in hard times, we're still able to increase allowances. That's why, in hard times, we're able to implement retention bonus for nurses and teachers. And in hard times, we're still able to support promotions. That's why we're going to continue to work together and collaborate on future steps forward, Mr. President. That's why my door is open and why it will stay open. We worked hard to kickstart a booming recovery, and a lot of Bahamians are working now. More than $1 billion in new investment means more jobs, but yet still more ownership opportunities, and they are all on the way too. Friends, we know we will face sunny days and stormy days. What's important is that we face them together.
The 2023 Labor Day parade here in the capital ended on a high note, with a Junkanoo rush out, much to the delight of onlookers. For the Bahamas Tonight, I am Warner.
Well, a proud Labour Minister, the Honourable Keith Bell, attributing the success of signing quite a number of industrial agreements to those union leaders who stayed at the negotiating table, the collective responsibility of his cabinet colleagues and God. Bell says having followed through on the promise to increase minimum wage, he and his team are busy implementing components of a decent work program and introducing a livable wage.
And so I invite every Bahamian to get in, do the research, listen attentively, and contribute to this debate as we move towards a livable wage. We're moving towards a national apprenticeship program. And so there are a whole lot of things that is going on, and there's a lot to be excited about.
Well, judging from the ones we spoke with, Labour leaders seem more than satisfied with the government's response to industrial matters. Carla Palmer shares their story.
For a second consecutive year, it rained on Labor Day, but there was no stopping the show and the residents showing out. They came out in the hundreds, and the union leaders proud as peacocks, not only for the confidence boost in the turnout of members, but their leadership accomplishments in having what they describe as many industrial agreements resolved.
Very reasonable. The government is working with us. There are some things we need to resolve. We are resolving it. And we will continue to work with the government because the government has shown its commitment to work with us.
So far, they've been pleasing to our Congress by signing almost 20 industrial agreements, 2 conventions from the ILO, and it looked like the rest is history. We have a understanding with the government, and so far they're living up to it.
We've had some 145 matters before the Supreme Court. While I cannot speak to them in terms of specific, what I can say at this point, we've been able to solve, negotiate over 140 of them, some 90+% of them outside of court. And so we found the Ministry of Public Service, the Minister of Education, and the new director to be working well along with us.
Still with some concerns outstanding, labor leaders are optimistic and are describing the environment as friendly.
We have some basic concerns. Some of the agreements are still outstanding, and the industrial agreement, we need to get that resolved, and the legislation we need to work on.
I think for the most part we are able to social dialogue to work with a lot of our concerns, but you know, my cry is always to get the workers of Cable Bahamas to have an industrial agreement, and so I will sing that song until the last nail knock, until we get those workers unionized. Well, they are officially a part of the union. We just need to get a contract for them, and we're not going to stop until we get that contract signed.
We've completed a series of industrial agreements we've signed off on. We're moving ahead into our new negotiations. We're getting ready to go back to the table at ZNS, getting ready to go back to the table at BTC.
Just elected in January this year, Muriel Liburn is celebrating her first time on the parade as the president of the Bahamas Nurses Union. For her members, safety at this time is not only a concern, but a matter of priority.
Our nurses, we work under extreme conditions. In particular, the nurses in our family of islands, they don't have the opportunities that we have in terms of safety. When we look at Princess Margaret, Sandilands Hospital, and all those other clinics here in this country, we are afforded, protection from police and all those other stuff. They're stationed at our hospitals. In the family of islands, it's different.
President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Belinda Wilson, is also lobbying for a change, that of the status of contract workers.
And so we're asking the government and the private sector to cease and desist so that persons will be able to not just work, but be able to, after work, enjoy their pensions and their benefits.
In this 50th anniversary of independence, union leaders say they remain committed to the task as they continue to stand guard as the protectors of the rights of Bahamian workers across the country. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Well, amid the revelry was a moment of sadness as unionists fondly remembered Tabitha Bethel Higgs, Kathleen Rogers Fernanda, Tamika Gibson, and Diane Gray Ferguson, the 4 women who lost their lives during the Labor Day Parade 2018. In a show of respect, parade vehicles silenced their music as they approached the memorial site near Zion Baptist Church, East and Shirley Streets. Paying tribute was Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis.
I'm committed to workers, and you'll see that through this administration. And I want to thank you all again for standing and staying to remember 4 fallen sisters. May their souls continue to rest in peace.
Well, following that tragedy, police implemented several changes to the flow of traffic along the Labor Day Parade route. Vaughn Albury explains.
For this Labor Day Parade, people might be wondering, there are too many gaps, but Inspector Jerron Thompson is here to tell us the purpose of the gaps.
Okay, at this particular point, the purpose of the gap is to allow the trucks
to come up the hill and not depend on their transmission to cause them to roll back, to cause any disaster, any possible disaster. So we are stopping the traffic. We are stopping the parade at a certain point, allow some of the pedestrians to go forward, and then we are bringing the trucks up on top of the hill, and then the pedestrians behind, they can catch up.
It's a safety issue.
It's a safety issue. We're trying to avoid any disasters.
Some onlookers said the gaps nearing the hill on East Street were too wide. In fact, drivers including Corey Higgs and Trevor Seifert agreed with the decision of police not to allow any parade participants to walk behind the trucks.
Yeah, they did a good job doing that so we could climb the hill. No one was there to stop us from climbing the hill. Yeah, they did a good job.
Is it difficult to balance the hill with a truck such as yours?
No, not really, because it's automatic, not standard shift. If it was standard shift, then it would have been difficult. But I was able to go over the hill smoothly, and everything went smooth.
Awesome job, making sure everybody is safe. Everybody's safety is what it is on this parade. Make sure they have no accidents, everybody's abiding by the rules, and we'll have a wonderful Labor Day parade.
Yeah, people were saying that there are gaps in the parade, but the gaps were for the safety.
The gaps are for the safety. As an example, coming up the hills, you don't want any truck reversing back and can't stop. So, hey, you go up and the truck come after. Make sure the safety first.
Despite the separation, Teresa Mortimer, president of the Bahamas Financial Services Union, still grieves the tragedy. She wants a safer parade.
The parade is a painful memory. And it's painful because of the trucks and the cars on the parade. You know, it's enough that the Labor Day, this womb is open. And we have to come to the realization that they're no longer with us. This is year 5. And in 2019, a year after we lost our sisters, we had a no real parade. The Bahamas is full of bands. Every time you look around, there's a new band forming. And if we could go back to the No Wheels Parade for my sisters, the BFSC would partake.
That remains to be seen. Thankfully, the 2023 Labor Day Parade here in the capital concluded on a high note, Junkanoo, and incident-free. For the Bahamas Tonight, I am Vaughn Aubrey.
Well, the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report returns in a moment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast, I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast, I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast, when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast, when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC. From the experts that created the Kentucky Chicken Sandwich comes the crispy barbecue sandwich. Bacon, cheddar cheese, crispy onions, and the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor. KFC. It's finger-licking good.
Of the Bahamas. Fly away.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, has your favorites on special like Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Devon corned beef, 12 ounce, $2.69. Kraft macaroni and cheese, 7 1/4 ounce, $1.09. Vitamalt Classic, 10.5 to 12 ounce, $1.29. Case price, $30.96. Yellow onions, 3-pound bag, $2.99. Pork chop bands, $2.49 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Mario thought he could have his cake and eat it too. He almost found out the hard way that if you don't insure your home for the full replacement value, when it comes time to make a claim, you won't get the full payout. It's called the condition of average. If your $200,000 home is destroyed by a hurricane, but you only insured it for $100,000, half the value, you'll only get half of that $100,000 payout. Actually, less than that, because there's also a deductible which will be deducted from your payout. Check your home insurance policy for the condition of average clause and ask your insurance agent or broker how condition of average would affect you. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
Much ado has been made of it, but the 2023-2024 budget is not entirely void of an increase in taxes. As Economic Affairs Minister, Senator the Honorable Michael Alkeidas explains, the hike in some fees are mainly targeted, though, at non-Bahamians.
We are proposing an increase in the departure tax, some increases in immigration fees, and some other areas where the government provides a service where the fees have been the same in some cases for as long as 50 years. So for example, you go and make an application to have some service at the government, it costs you $10, but in order to provide that service, it might cost the government $30 to provide it. And so in those cases, there's an attempt to just cover the cost of providing services. But by and large, well, not by and large, definitely no broad-based increase in things like customs duties and VAT.
Now, Wednesday's budget communication laying the foundation for the debate to kick off in the House of Assembly Wednesday, June 7th. That's when ministers are expected to give a progress report of the funds spent over the 2022-2023 fiscal period and reveal plans for the 12 months ahead. In recent years, significant money has been pumped into rebuilding the country in the aftermath of 2019's Hurricane Dorian and fighting off the crushing economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. In terms of 2023-2024's allocations, here's what Edison Sumner, principal of Sumner Strategic Partners and former Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation CEO, predicts.
I do think, and again, I'm harping on this issue of debt management, I think that a significant portion of this budget is going to go toward debt management because we have a very heavy foreign debt, right, for the bonds that we have floated in the international markets. Those bonds have to be funded. Interest payments got to be made on a timely basis. The great United States of America is right now struggling about their debt management situation, and they are at the brink of a default as well. And a lot of our debt is held by US-based companies. So we've got to pay close attention to what's happening there. So I think it's going to be large percentages being paid to debt management. I think also that we're going to see a significant amount of capital being shifted towards capital infrastructure and development. I also want to see that there's going to be, I think, a heavy concentration on healthcare, only because we came through with the pandemic. People are still reeling and recovering from that. The government is still recovering out of it as well. And naturally, we want to retain our best and brightest in the medical profession, in the education field. I think there's going to be significant focus there also.
Meantime, the Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation polling its members ahead of the 2023-2024 budget communication to garner any concerns about the government's proposed fiscal agenda. According to Vice Chairman Timothy Ingram, no new taxes, a tax structure change, and an improved ease of doing business were just some of the primary items on that list.
They know that there's good funding for small business or businesses just starting up, but some existing businesses are in a position where they could use some funding either to tide them over to a slightly better period of time or to expand the business and hire more people. Education of our people is critical. Businesses are challenged right now in certain sectors to find properly educated persons to work in those businesses, and so they'd like to see the government focus on not just the school systems, that needs focus, but also on skills training, just bringing people in and training them for various trades and getting them ready for that. Energy costs. Energy costs are a very significant part of any business's budget in this country, and so they'd like to see energy costs come down.
In related news this evening, moving ahead, financial expert Hubert Edwards is hoping for more cohesive interaction between the ruling party and the opposition.
If they work together more cohesively, more things can be done. The Bahamas is in a tricky position. I think we need to accept and understand that all is not well at this point in time, but all is not lost either. The Bahamas is celebrating its 50th year of independence, has done significantly well for itself. But if we are going to do well going into the next 50, then we have to sometimes change some attitudes, change some approaches, and I believe that a collaborative approach is the way to go.
Well, the deadlock between the petroleum retailers and the government continues, the former pushing for a margin increase, the latter maintaining its hardline approach to reject it. Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honourable Michael Halkett, is making it abundantly clear at each turn that it is not the government's intention to do anything that would lead to a further burden on the backs of Bahamians.
People yesterday, they said they want a 30-cent increase. You know what 30-cent increase means? That means gas goes up to you by 30 cents a gallon, not to Michael Halkett. I think it goes up to the 397,000 of us. So what we continue to do, our discussions with them is, yes, we understand you have some private business relationships that are onerous to you. You're paying a lot of rent to your landlords. The landlords is taking some percentage off the top of all your sales. You're in a bad situation. And that is why we gave the rebate, right? We even asked them, okay, when we give you this rebate, can we see a reduction in the price? Well, that didn't happen for whatever reason. What I'm saying is, it's not correct to say we have done nothing. Our view is you don't want to do anything that will increase the price of gas at the pump. For you, the public, businesses, the bus drivers, the fishermen, everybody is counterproductive. So what we continue to do is let's talk and see how we can work out a solution.
To the suggestion that the government reduce its cut,
with which it provides services to the public from revenue, taxes, and borrowing. You cut the revenue, you have to borrow the money. Our debt goes up. People are very concerned about our debt. So what we say to the retailers is, we sat down, we listened, we provided that relief. It is not in our contemplation to grant a margin increase that will lead to an increase in the price at the pump for the public. It means the price of gas goes up for everybody. We're not doing that, okay? As things evolve, as time goes on, we see some other developments in the market, perhaps there'll be an opportunity to do something that does not lead directly to an increase in the price at the pump. We think that's a perfectly reasonable position, and that's our position. We continue to work with them, but, you know, to talk about the 30 cents increase, no.
On a lighter note, it's grad season with thousands across the country celebrating the big milestone. Minister of Education, the Honourable Glenys Hanna Martin, says this year no student will be excluded from marking the completion of their high school career.
But this year, all students will participate in the graduation ceremony. This has not been the practice, and previously only those who have attained a high school diploma would mark the end of their school life in a ceremony. This year, every student will attend the graduation ceremony, and we want to ensure that our children, our young people, have hope for a future, even if their high school years were not all that they had hoped it to be.
The National Report returns in a moment. Stay with us.
Portion of the news is being brought to you by the 50th Independence Secretariat. Go to their website.
On May 1st, 2012, Rubis acquired the Chevron fuel business in the Bahamas, which traded under the Texaco brand. We are now celebrating our 10th anniversary of the Rubis brand in the Bahamas. Rubis has become the fuel brand of choice. However, our 10-year journey was not without challenges. We would like to recognize our dedicated members of staff and thank our customers for their continued support. We look forward to another 10-year milestone as we continue our journey.
Tourism today, Bahamas tourism today.
If they see me on the road and they're in them taxis, oh, that's Lady Di. I need to take a picture. Oh, Lady Di. So good. They must say they see an important person. Yes. My name is Diana Elizabeth Thompson, and I'm a pineapple farmer. I think I was born to do this because I love everything about nature. I like to see things spring when I plant them and watch them come to perfection. Meet the sugarloaf pine, that's the name I guess the farmers give them way back in the days. And if you really come in contact with a pineapple and you peel him and taste him, it's like sugar. So probably that's where the old time people got that name from, sugarloaf. And I hope to live 100 years that I can still be planting my pineapples.
Have you ever purchased a defective item and was denied an exchange or cash refund? Contact the Consumer Protection Commission at 393-7795-8 or our 24-hour complaints hotline at 357-7898 and let us help your voice be heard.
Hey, get up, stand up for your right.
When we started Stormframe Windows in 1999, we wanted to fabricate an impact-rated product to compete with the Florida market, and we've done this. There's no fabricator or vendor from Florida that can do what we can in the Bahamas. Because we fabricate locally and we're a local-based company, we have the capability to provide better customer service than our competitors. With all the worldwide supply chain issues, we at Stormframe have improved our fabrication process and have invested in stock to be able to produce our orders in 4 weeks. We also keep in stock over 400 windows and doors at standard sizes for walk-in customers to purchase. Our professional sales staff is here to assist you with the complete purchase and installation. We also service and ship to the out outlets.
Thank you for your support, Bahamas.
Thank you for your support, Bahamas.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before teens get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
Have you been denied a U.S. visa and don't understand why? Have you been turned away from the U.S. border without an explanation? Maybe you've had a prior arrest or conviction and you're not clear on how to move forward at this point. Call our office. We may be able to help. 954-449-1833.
Spring is here and Easter is right around the corner. Thinking about moving forward with your personal goals that require money? Fidelity Bank can get you approved in no time without the red tape and the runaround. Fidelity offers competitive interest rates and minimal fees. The loan that you need and can afford is just a phone call away.
We now know the names of the 2 women killed in crashes here in New Providence last Friday. Philippa DeVoe of Ghana Circle, Elizabeth Estates, died from injuries sustained in an accident on Prince Charles Drive after 3 p.m. that day. Hours later, 45-year-old Melissa Knowles of Cordia Street, Pinewood Gardens, was killed following a mishap at the intersection of McKinney and Johnston Avenue, Stapleton Gardens. Both matters remain under active investigations. The same to be said in the case of 9 undocumented Chinese nationals apprehended late last night. Following up on a tip, police found the 8 males and a female at a home on Family Street off Soldier Road after 11 p.m. The Department of Immigration is expected to further process the matter. Well, of late, a number of children have been reported missing, some found and others still being sought. Well, Registrar at the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center, Dr. Petra Forbes, says toxic and negative parenting styles can lead to some of those teens leaving home.
We do have help available for parents who need assistance in their parenting style, and they recognize that I need help in order to help my child. I think that we should show compassion and empathy. Not everyone comes from a positive environment. So as a female or a male, if you come from an environment where you're being abused physically or verbally, you're being molested, you are poor, you don't know where your next meal is coming from, and a young man or a young lady is filling that void. They're feeding you, they're providing you with a safe haven, per se. They speak positively to you, they uplift you. You are going to lean towards that individual.
Regional challenges plaguing food and nutrition security, public health, and the Caribbean economy, just some of the topics to be addressed at next week's 34th West Indies Agricultural Economics Conference at Super Clubs Breezes Resort. Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis will officially open the event on Monday. The conference is expected to lay the foundation for robust talks on modernizing and elevating agriculture and marine resources across the region. Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute, or BAMSI, officials are fine-tuning plans to co-host.
In particular, I'm really excited about some of our climate change factors and focus, some of the issues talking about food insecurity and ways of food security, and school feeding programs that are definitely going to be highlighted at this conference. This is an opportunity to allow persons that are interested in these topics and research to come out and find out what's going on.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us, there's more after the break.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a sand dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving sand dollars, or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers. It does not matter
which of us you choose.
You can pay for goods and services
Wherever Sand Dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
If you've got termites and need to get rid of them fast, trust Rentokil Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rentokil Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial. Janae's Uniform Center. We've traveled to every island in this here land, man. We go everywhere. We can go to every rock and key, Abaco to Inagua, even Ragged Island, The Rock. Celebrate our country's 50th independence with Janae's special limited edition. Sublimated t-shirts and caps in 10 different styles and colors. Get up to 50% off on cotton polo shirts only. Don't forget to embroider your company's logo to celebrate this independence at Janae's Uniform Center, Chesapeake Road. Call 394-8385 or 6. WhatsApp text only 817-3295. Email sales@janaes.com.
Centuries, Bahamians have been known as masters of the sea, from the Lucayans and Arawaks, swashbuckling pirates, quaint workboats to meticulously crafted sloop race boats. Bahamians have evolved the sport of sailing as it plays an integral part of our culture. For more than 70 years, Bahamians have displayed passion and grit for the sport, and it is one that has bridged the gap between young and older Bahamians. We are proud to anchor sailing as the national sport of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
The 5 Americans aboard that private plane that went down in waters 10 miles north of Andros yesterday, no doubt counting their blessings. While they were shaken up and taken to Andros for medical assistance, none of their injuries were life-threatening. Initial reports are that the aircraft left San Andros Airport after 3 p.m. Thursday for West Palm Beach, Florida, when the pilot began experiencing issues with the plane. Authorities say he was able to land safely, though, in shallow waters. Investigations are ongoing. Well, Hidden Treasures owners Denise and Trevor Bethel have for years been pleasing the palates of patrons of the Cat Island Rake and Scrape Festival. And tonight, our Jiminita Swain chats with the dynamic duo about future plans.
So Hidden Treasures Restaurant and Sporting Lounge proves to be a staple at the Rake and Scrape site. Now, it's one of the places that I became familiar with. But to talk to us about how long they have been going to the site is, of course, the owners, Denise and Trevor Bethel. But Denise, we're going to start with you. Tell us, how long have you been going to the site, and what are your expectations going into this year's Rake and Scrape Festival?
Okay, we've been going to the Rake and Scrape Festival for about 8 years. And it has proven to be a success, a festival where your culture is experienced, the music, the dance, the food. And there are so many persons who comes in from Nassau just to get away, to enjoy the culture of the Bahamas. So we have been doing this for about 8 years. And I'm excited to have a professional chef with Hidden Treasures. And so this year we will be cooking just a lot of native food, and we welcome persons to come and enjoy the Rake and Scrape, enjoy the music, enjoy who we are as Bahamians, and so I'm excited.
So you hear that Denise is excited, she's ready to go, but guess what? Guess who is the man in the kitchen who is make sure the belly and the food right? This one here. He just hook us up with some food. Listen to me. If you're coming to Rake and Scrape, you better find Hidden Treasures when you go down there. But tell us what the people could expect when they find your stall down there to the site.
Well, when they come down to the stall, to the Rake and Scrape Festival, they can look forward to getting some really down-home True Bohemian Delight. Tasty, flavorful, and doing it the way that Hidden Treasures does it.
Well, Jimmy is over there in Cat Island just charming us all back here in the capital. It's time now, though, for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Jiminita. After an overcast day with intermittent rains, the skies has finally opened up. We have partly cloudy skies, temperature at 82 degrees, relative humidity still quite rich, though, at 80%. South-southeast winds at 8 miles per hour. The barometric pressure, 1,006.9 millibars. That is 29.73 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Wilderness this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 82 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Turtle Key, and Marshall, Abaco. The Berry Islands at 83. Allenstown, Bimini, 84 degrees, 82 in Harbor Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 80 degrees. Black Point, Exuma, and Camp Space, Andros at 81. Fresh Creek, Central Andros, 83 degrees. 78 in Alderstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, Rumkey, and Georgetown, Exuma, which is experiencing some cloudy skies and showers in that part of the archipelago. For the south, 79s in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Maguana, and Acklands. Matitown, Inagua, 82. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 86 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the northwestern islands tonight, right through Sunday, those light and variable winds which will continue with flat seas 1 to 3 feet. High tide takes place at 7:27 this evening. Another high tide at 7:42 tomorrow morning. Now for the central and southeastern islands through Sunday, southwesterly flow 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, the extended weather forecast is still ahead.
On May 1st, 2012, Rubis acquired the Chevron fuel business in the Bahamas, which traded under the Texaco brand. We are now celebrating our 10th anniversary of the Rubis brand in the Bahamas. Rubis has become the fuel brand of choice. However, our 10-year journey was not without challenges. We would like to recognize our dedicated members of staff and thank our customers for their continued support. We look forward to another 10-year milestone as we continue our journey.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a sand dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving sand dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
Your Central Bank approved
digital wallet providers. It does not matter
which of us you choose,
You can pay for goods and services
wherever Sand Dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
Centuries, Bahamians have been known as masters of the sea, from the Lucayans and Arawaks, swashbuckling pirates, quaint workboats to meticulously crafted sloop race boats. Bahamians have evolved the sport of sailing as it plays an integral part of our culture. For more than 70 years, Bahamians have displayed passion and grit for the sport, and it is one that has bridged the gap between young and older Bahamians. We are proud to anchor sailing as the national sport of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
The most important thing in life is family, and whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your holiday sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports for second day. Rough weather hampering the festivities over in Salt Pond for the 54th edition of the Long Island Regatta. Our Marcellus Hall is there and filed this report.
Overcast skies, a sign of things to come as day 2 of the 54th Long Island Regatta got underway on Thursday. After being able to sail just one race on Wednesday, regatta officials looking toward getting as much sailing in as possible. B-class action as the first of 2 back-to-back races taking place. Susan Chase, skippered by Stefan Knowles, took the gun, followed by the Lady Sonia, Old Boy, and Lonesome Dove. Chase and Knowles doing it again in the second race as well, this time followed by Old Boy and Lady Sonia.
The weather is very shifty, and we almost sank. One of the guys fell overboard. It was a funny day.
Last year, people said you lost your touch, but this year you're coming back big time.
I like Muhammad Ali. I don't get knocked out easy. I just come back strong and stronger than ever.
On to the A-class, where once again Stefan Knowles had the upper hand, this time sailing the running tide. Second A-class race saw the legend this time taking first place as Stefan's brother David steered his boat to the wind.
The first race, our anchor came on deck and we got in back and we ended up second. And then the second race, well, it was close. And out by the bow, we made a little good move on the bow in the last leg and we put it on it.
That reminds me that you guys right now have not only just regatta, but you're kind of fighting for the right to represent the Bahamas games too. So got to be a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, you know, that crew, they be back and forth with one another, but they all right. They just get along with one another. That's the fun of sailing.
The day would wrap up with a brief opening ceremonies at the cultural site as regatta declared officially open. Sailing activities set to continue, weather permitting, right through until Saturday. From the 54th edition of the Long Island Regatta, I'm Marcellus Hall, ZNS Total Sports.
Still on regattas, 3 competitive days of sailing, and coming out the winner of the Baratari Regatta were the youngsters from the Exuma Sailing Club aboard Termite. Commodore of the Baratari Sailing Association, Horace McKenzie, pleased with the turn of events.
You couldn't ask for better competition. The sailors were on their game, so this one was great.
The young boys stepped up on Termite. It's quite a surprise there.
No, they don't surprise me because their tutor, Mr. Dallas Knowles, our new Commodore for the Family Island Regatta, has taught them well. He taught them discipline, so that does not surprise me at all.
11 boats registered for the C-Class Regatta, but only 7 sailed. McKenzie hoping in the future more Exuma boats support their local settlements.
It has to do with motivation. It also has to do with, just being community-minded. Now, we had some boats from Black Point that had some difficulties. We expected 3 boats from Black Point, but because of the schedule of the mail boat that was going to tow them into Baratari, we had some issues with that.
In the baseball news, Bahamian collegiate player Dalen Adderley had a stellar season for his Texas Southern University Tigers, helping them to a 31-20 win-loss season. For his play, he was rewarded with the SWAC Player and Hitter of the Year awards, as well as he was named to the All-SWAC team. We recently caught up with the young slugger on his season.
I'm in school, so it's time management and just scheduling each one of my days. And I usually have a to-do list every day, and whether it's, lifting weights, hitting, fielding, whatever I want to work on each particular day, I just need to be consistent with it and do it. Just, commit to it and do it. And that's what I did through the entire season.
Adderley is currently attending the HBCU All-Star Weekend, and he spoke about his expectations for the event.
So I see it as more of a time to take in all your accomplishments and obviously compete, but just to get to know the guys, know all the guys that you compete against during the whole SWAC tourney and the SWAC season of baseball. So I just take it more of a time to enjoy certain parts of baseball that you don't really get to enjoy during the season.
And that's been Look at Your Sports on this holiday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
This is the super versatile Ring Stick-Up Cam. It goes indoors, outdoors, outdoors in the rain. It's got two-way talk. Hey, Eddie. Works with Alexa. Comes in tons of power options and works with Ring Alarm to start recording automatically if something's going on. Seriously? Seriously. So start protecting your home with the easy installing indoor-outdoor Stick-Up Cam by Ring.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a Sand Dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving sand dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers. It does not matter
which of us you choose,
You can pay for goods and services
wherever Sand Dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
We are excited and we are truly proud to be Bahamian.
I say, march on, our wonderful Bahama land. March on.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather on the second day of the tropical cyclone season, we have the first tropical storm which formed earlier today in the Gulf of Mexico. It's carried the name of Arlene. It's moving towards the south-southeast at 7 miles per hour, maximum sustained winds at 40 miles per hour. And that position puts it about 240 miles west of Fort Myers, Florida. Now, this system is expected to weaken as it moves into some hostile atmospheric conditions just around the western coast of Cuba by Saturday, and we expect it to degenerate into just an ordinary low-pressure system. Tonight, partly cloudy with a couple of thunderstorms developing later on tonight. 75 degrees for your low temperature. Tomorrow, cloudy conditions once again with a couple of showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the early part of the day with your high temperature around 84 degrees. Extended weather forecast, off and on showers continuing right through Sunday, becoming a bit isolated on Monday. We'll see more sunshine as we head into the early part of the week with those daytime temperatures still remaining pretty warm and those muggy nighttime temperatures. McKishla?
Well, thanks, Basil. And before we leave, birthday greetings go out to Tiro Ranger. The father of our co-worker here is Xavier Ranger here at the Broadcasting Corporation. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
Happy Labor Day, Bahamas.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
The following is a National Labor Day message by the Honorable Keith